Hey y'all, it's your girl Millie Chun. I'm a week late on this because we have a caught in the act tonight. So let's get into this. Let's go. So this is Tula and Chris. They're in a polyamorous relationship with a girl named Grace. Tula and Chris kind of found each other when Chris was going through a lot. At a young age, his mother passed away. He dropped out of school, like middle school. He was living on the streets, and there's an older woman that kind of took him in, who took advantage of him and changed his mind about having bang bang and love and all of that. Then he found Tula, and she helped him get through it. But the thing is, Tula is a girl's, as in she likes the girls, right? But she fell in love with Chris. They were together for like 3 years. She helped him get through whatever he needed to get through. And then they started introducing people. Well, she wanted to introduce Grace into the relationship. Chris has a lot of concerns about Grace. He was like, she works at a pet place. Her hours are like from 9 to 5. But now here, she may get home at 10 or midnight. There's not a lot of communication. And for this situation, you have to communicate. And it's like, Tula loves Grace and doesn't see anything wrong with Grace, and she feels like Chris is overreacting. So Chris has come to see Tami because he wants to show Tula that he is not overreacting and there's something going on with her. So Tami's going to take it. Let's go. So Tula's here at work. She's about to work with a Pomeranian, and she's talking to her coworker, and she's like, Chris and Tula are being very toxic right now. And she talked about how annoying Chris was. And then she was like, she was going out. But she came home after work. She didn't go out. Tula and Chris got into a huge argument over the telephone. And you could hear him talking about communication and things like that. So she leaves out to go sleep somewhere else. The next day, like, Tula's like, that was a wild, crazy argument, right? She was like, yeah. Tula says, do you want to go and do our usual Tuesday thing with Big Blue? Now, you know what Big Blue is. So here they are off to the room while Chris is left to go on a bike ride. They going to play with Big Blue. So on another day, they find that Grace is at home chilling for a minute. Then she gets ready and she goes out. She goes out with this guy. So they at this club. It's a fairy situation. And then, child, hold on. She's sitting here talking about she's going to be a fairy tonight. Then they get to talking about Chris and how aggravating he is. Then she was like, I want to do something very exciting. We're going to get into it. So Tula and Chris are here at the headquarters. They have been introduced to Coach Ken. He is here to help them process through anything that they see. Let's get into it. This is Chris's face when he hears the conversation that Grace was having with her coworker. He's annoying. Tula and Chris are toxic right now. And you could see Tula kind of looking over at Chris because she's scared to see how he's going to react. Then we talk about this big argument that they have over the communications, over them being on the phone. And then they were kind of like chilling as a group. Maybe poly is not always the right way. This is kind of Chris's reaction when Grace is like, just leave me alone, honestly, after they have that conversation. And let me tell you something, when they get to this part with Big Blue, baby, he comes undone. Coach Ken say that they're in a parasocial relationship, a relationship where one partner is willing to compromise their values in order to make the other one happy. So that's Tula trying to make everybody happy, and she's compromising her happiness for Chris because she loves him and Grace because she loves her. Tula can't even look up in Chris's face when they start talking about their Tuesday thing and Big Blue. He was like, this is what you do. This is what you do when I leave the house. This is how y'all communicate with me. And he is pissed. This was Coach Ken's face, baby, when they said Big Blue. And this was his face when he realized what Big Blue was. Then Tami just flat out told them, Grace is over both of y'all, right? She is so over both of y'all because y'all are just doing too much. So then they go to Grace being at home. She's like chilling for a second. Then she's getting ready to go out. Now, she's very emotional because she didn't know that this had happened. And when they show her getting in the truck with somebody else, she knew it wasn't Chris. So she had no idea who it was. Baby, this right here, it set Chris off because this is Christopher, his best friend from school that he didn't know was fooling around with Grace. Then their conversation was, last time we were together, we were having bang bang in their bed. Let's do it again because that was exciting. He was like, okay, hold on. Yep. Baby, Chris is not here for it. Tula cannot believe it. And Coach Ken feels like this is a very high level of disrespect because when they say they're going to do it in their bedroom, like this is his reaction. This is Chris realizing that this is Christian, his best friend. He was like, that's Christian? I used to take up for him on the playground. I used to tussle about him every day. And this is what he does to me? So then they hear Grace say, they're going to be gone for a few more hours if you want to come back to my place. Okay. Child, the reason they looking like this is because when Grace and Christian got back to their place, then they realized on the film that they were coming home, and they showed Christian jumping out of the window of their bedroom as they were coming in through the front door. See what I'm talking about right here? Out of the window. She is in such disbelief because she's like, I cannot believe Grace would do this in my bed behind my back. Like, she really and truly goes up for Grace and she loves Grace. The reason Chris is looking like this is because he has an I told you so spirit on him right now. That's what's going on in this photo. I feel like Coach Kid is like, I knew this wasn't gonna work. I feel like that's what he's thinking in his head because this is a mess. So when Tami was saying, we could do a team up, but why would you want to team up with Christian and blah, blah, blah. We can do a takedown. Tula said, I definitely want to take down. So let's go. So they get over to the body shop and Chris is having to be held down, right? Christian is working over here and Christian feels like Chris always looked down on him. He felt like he talked down on him. He's like, I got 2 women. You don't have 1 woman. So he just said, I'm just going to take Grace. Grace 100% is 10 toes down for Tula, right? She really don't care nothing about Chris. She said Chris has really bad communication skills. They treat her differently. And she was like, I'm just not here for him. And as they're trying to get it together, Chris won't let Grace talk. She's like, this is the problem. You won't let me talk. You won't listen to me here to hear what I have to say. And I didn't want to do this anyway. I just did this for Tula. So Grace is sitting here telling Tami, I don't really want to fool with Christian. I was just doing that on the side because I just wanted some excitement. I'm here for Tula. At the end of the day, if Chris wasn't in the picture, if Christian wasn't in the picture, none of this would be going on because I would be with Tula. Basically. Child, so the reason Tami is pointing to the left is because Chris was talking so crazy to Grace. Then he had got to interrupting Tami. Tami said, I'm not Grace or Tula. And what you're not going to do is that to me. So what you can do is pick up your stuff and head out to the left. Baby, he had to leave. So Tami calls them all in there. So they're all talking about the situation. Grace lets Christian know to his face, dude, I like you, but I ain't really here for you like that. Like, I'm okay. I'm good. Now, he's a little hurt because I think maybe he thought he was having something because he was taken from Chris. But he got up and he left. He was feeling really bad. He cursed everybody out on his way. This is Coach Ken when Grace is saying that I just want to be with Tula. I don't need to be with Chris. Because Chris doesn't listen. He doesn't communicate. And then Coach Ken told Grace, you are acting like a child because you around here doing stuff behind their back. There's no communication over here. This situation is not working. So if you're in a polyamorous situation, how is that supposed to work? Everybody needs to be on one accord. Grace doesn't even want to be with Chris. She said she was physically attracted to him, not emotionally. And right now, I don't think anything at all. So at the end of the day, Chris said, I'm out. I don't want to talk to you or her. I'm good. Tula is devastated because she didn't want to lose Chris. She really loved him. But she is glad that her and Grace are going to go at it. So they are together. At the end of the day, Chris is not with anybody, right? He helped Tula and Grace move into their apartment. Tami asked about his friend Christian. He was like, I'm not there yet with him. He's my best friend. He betrayed me. But he's working on himself. It's your girl Millie Chan. I'll talk to y'all later.